Hello everyone, Namaste and Assalamu alaikum. I know my Hindi is not so good, so let's move to the topic. My name is Mohammad Shahriar Alam. I am Web GIS specialist of Nitol Tata from Bangladesh. In other hand, I am a member of OpenStreetMap Foundation. First of all, I am really honored to be here to speak before you as a part of this 5th annual convention on climate change and water research. I want to express my thanks to Suresh Gyan Vihar University and obviously to the organizing committee to inviting me today. Today I am here to talk about is Web GIS. I know maximum of you already know about GIS, which means Geographic Information System. You also know how to use GIS and how to analyzing using GIS in your research, but do you know how to share these GIS analysis, these GIS projects publicly using web service? This is why we use Web GIS. Web GIS is the combination of two terms. Number one is web and another one is GIS. Both of these combinedly make Web GIS. You already know about GIS, you just need to know some basic issues of web. Maybe you are thinking now like this, yeah, maybe I need to use programming knowledge, otherwise I can't start my WebGIS career. If you are thinking so, you are wrong. WebGIS is the combination of 70% GIS work and only 30% of web work. So, as you already know GIS, you just need to know few basic knowledge of web programming. And in other hand, there are many open source platforms which help you to publish your GIS work in web with share option also. So now let's see into this slide what is GIS and the key elements of Web GIS and steps and model of Web GIS and advantages of Web GIS, and after all of this, enjoy GIS.
Now let's see what is WebGIS. Generally, WebGIS is the combination of two systems. Number one, web or internet. You must need a web or internet platform to develop your WebGIS. Number two, all of us know GIS, which means Geographic Information System. It is a technology that is used to display and analyze spatial data on the internet. It combines the advantages of both the internet and GIS. It offers public a new means to access spatial information without owning expensive GIS software. So, from the above discussion, we can say WebGIS defined as a distributed information system comprising at least a server and client, where the server is a GIS server and the client is a web browser, desktop application or mobile application, and much more. The server has a URL so that clients can find it on the web. Now let's see advantages of WebGIS rather than desktop GIS. Simple, a desktop GIS is installed and operates on a personal computer. User can only display, update, query, and analyze geographic data locally. A desktop GIS is not accessible on a server or externally, therefore limiting access to how and where it can be managed. Compare this to a WebGIS and an organization can reduce lead times. WebGIS creates the way of access for the group of users. WebGIS can be used by dozens or hundreds of users simultaneously. Let's see some key elements of WebGIS. There are 5 essential elements in every WebGIS application. These include a web application, digital base maps, operational layers, tasks and tools, one or more geodatabase. So these are the 5 key elements of WebGIS. The server has a URL so that clients can find it on the web. The client relies on the HTTP specifications to send requests to the server. The server performs the requested GIS operations and sends responses to the client via HTTP. The format of the response sent to the client can be in many formats such as HTML, binary image, XML, which means extensible markup language, or JSON, which means JavaScript object-oriented notation. Some basic steps of WebGIS. To create a WebGIS project, first of all, you need to create your map or collect your map. After that, you need to develop your web interface. Then, you need to upload your map into your developed web interface. Finally, you need to add tools and access of users. As example, you can add some tools based on your WebGIS projects, and you can create access of users like admin users and public users. Model of WebGIS. This is the model of WebGIS, and this is the core area of the whole model, and this area is managed by WebGIS specialist who is responsible for everything in this model. He is responsible to upload GIS data, manage the whole platform, and user access. And these are the users. Users could be mobile user, web user, and GIS users. Some example of web users like Google Earth, Google Map, and much more. So now let's discuss some advantages of WebGIS. WebGIS is a powerful mapping and analytical functionality expressed within a web browser. Because of the increased power and customization, WebGIS can now better support learning standard-oriented content in the natural and social science. No longer is it necessary to teach learners how to use GIS before teaching the disciplinary content of interest. WebGIS introduces distinct advantages over traditional desktop GIS, including the following: a global reach, a large number of users, better cross-platform capability, low cost as averaged by the number of users, easy to use, unified updates, and diverse applications. So now let's discuss each advantages separately. A global reach. As an ArcGIS user, you can present WebGIS applications to the world, and the world can access them from their computers or mobile devices. The global nature of WebGIS is inherited from HTTP, which is broadly supported. A large number of users. In general, a traditional desktop GIS is used by only one user at a time, while a WebGIS can be used by dozens or hundreds of users simultaneously. Thus, WebGIS requires much higher performance and scalability than desktop GIS. Better cross-platform capability. The majority of WebGIS clients are web browsers like Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Apple Safari, Google Chrome, Opera, and so on. Because these web browsers largely comply with HTML and JavaScript standards, WebGIS that relies on HTML clients will typically support different operating systems such as Microsoft Windows, Linux, and Apple Mac OS. OS means operating system. This is the major advantage of WebGIS, low cost as averaged by the number of users. The vast majority of internet content is free of charge to end user, and this is true of WebGIS. Generally, you do not need to buy software or pay to use WebGIS. Organizations that need to provide GIS capabilities to many users can also minimize their cost through WebGIS. Instead of buying and setting up desktop GIS for every user, an organization can set up just one WebGIS, and this single system can be shared by many users from home, at work, or in the field. Easy to use. Desktop GIS is intended for professional users with months of training and experience in GIS. WebGIS is intended for a broad audience, including public users who may know nothing about GIS. They expect WebGIS to be as easy as using a regular website. WebGIS is commonly designed for simplicity, intuition, and convenience, making it typically much easier to use than desktop GIS. Unified updates. For desktop GIS to be updates to a new version, the update needs to be installed on every computer. For WebGIS, one update works for all clients. This ease of maintenance makes WebGIS a good fit for delivering real-time information. Diverse application. Unlike desktop GIS, which is limited to a certain number of GIS professionals, WebGIS can be used by everyone in an enterprise as well as the public at large. This broad audience has diverse demands. Applications such as mapping celebrity homes, tagging personal photos, locating friends, and displaying Wi-Fi hotspots are a few of the many current examples of WebGIS. So, this is all about the advantages of WebGIS. Now, let's see open source WebGIS, some advantages of open source WebGIS, and some list of open source WebGIS. So now let's see the advantages. Open source WebGIS generally free. It has been estimated that open source software collectively saves business 60 billion a year. It's continually evolving in real time as developers add to it and modify it, which means it can be better quality and more secure and less prone to bugs than proprietary systems because it has so many users poring over it and weeding out problems. Using open source software also means you are not locked into using a particular vendor system that only works with their other systems. You can modify and adapt open source software for your own business requirements, something that is not possible with proprietary systems. Now let's see the list of some open source web GIS. There are many open source web GIS. One of them is ArcGIS Online, then GeoServer, GIS Cloud, Google Maps API, Mapbox, Leaflet.js. In this list, Google Maps API is not fully free. When we will create small projects of WebGIS, we can use Google Maps API free, but for the large projects of WebGIS, we need to pay if we use Google Maps API. ArcGIS Online. ArcGIS Online is great and easy platform to upload your shapefile in web and create web map interface. It gives you many tools inside your web map interface by default. GeoServer. GeoServer is an open source software server written in Java that allows users to share and edit geospatial data. Designed for interoperability, it publishes data from any major spatial data source using open standard. GeoServer is the reference implementation of the Open Geospatial Consortium, Web Feature Service, and Web Coverage Service standards, as well as a high-performance certified compliant web map service. We need to remember few terms from GeoServers. One is OGC, then WFS, WCS, WMS. These terms will be used in our future WebGIS work. GIS Cloud. GIS Cloud is web-based GIS powered by cloud computing. It provides many desktop GIS features enriched by the web. GIS Cloud offers easy and efficient visualization, analysis, and exploration of geographic information. By using GIS Cloud, our user access the full power of desktop GIS, allowing for such activities as geospatial analysis, spatial intelligence, the creation of customized mapping reports, and publishing geographic analysis on the web. Google Maps API. As we already said, Google Maps API is not fully open source web GIS. For a small project, we can use it free, but for large projects and large users, we need to pay for this. It designed for people familiar with JavaScript programming and object-oriented programming concept. Google Maps API is fully controlled by programmer, ability to add MySQL database, ability to use PHP code, customized by API programmer, able to add shapefile as KML. These are the benefits of Google Maps API. And many of us know about KML. This is a file of Google Earth. If you use Google Earth, you can see KML and KMJet. Mapbox. Mapbox is the creator of or a significant contributor to some open source mapping libraries and applications, including the MBTiles specifications, the TileMill Cartography IDE, the Leaflet JavaScript library, and the Carto CSS map styling language and parser. The data are taken both from open data sources such as OpenStreetMap or OSM and NASA, and from proprietary data sources such as Digital Globe. The technology is based on Node.js, CoachDB, Mapnik, GDAL, and Leaflet.js. Leaflet.js. Leaflet is the leading open-source JavaScript library for mobile-friendly interactive maps. Weighing just about 33 kilobytes of JS, it has all the mapping features most developers ever need. Leaflet is designed with simplicity, performance, and usability in mind. It works efficiently across all major desktop and mobile platforms, can be extended with lots of plugins, has a beautiful, easy to use and well documented API, and a simple, readable source code that is joy to contribute to. So, this is all about open source WebGIS. Thank you.
Nowadays, there is a question in where we can use WebGIS and what is the career of WebGIS. I think WebGIS can be used in any sector. We are already using WebGIS in urban planning, in rural planning, in transport planning, in real estate, in environmental management, um, in tourism site development. We are also using WebGIS in health sector. Even we can use WebGIS in business sector also. How? WebGIS can be used in business sector using location-based analysis. Maybe you are thinking like, what is location-based analysis? This is a powerful tool to develop your business. We can use GIS in this location-based analysis to start our new business. Say, you want to start your new business and you are thinking in where you need to develop your business and where will be your first office. Using suitable site analysis in GIS, easily you can identify the suitable location of your business office by inputting some criteria like your office should be far from residential area or near from residential area. Your office should be in the commercial zone and near to the industrial zone. You can input this criteria and by this GIS will give you a wonderful map for the suitable location of your new office. So you have developed your new office. Now you need to analyze your target customer. If you have a GIS map by which you can see which area of this state are residential area, which are commercial area, and which are industrial area, and you need to analyze and identify those area which area are far from industrial zone and near to the residential zone or whatever you want. Just input this criteria. GIS will give you a wonderful map with suitable area from where you can choose your target customer based on your selected criteria. So now you have a business office and you have your target customer area. Now you need to create branch office. Same process, you can create the branch office of GIS, suitable site selection or another tool. After that, if you have a WebGIS map in where you can see your customer zones and your branch offices in another state or another area, and if you click that branch office, it will show the profit of this month, the loss of this month, and you can easily analyze which branch office give you profit and which are in loss. So it will be easy for you to see in one map your whole branch office and your whole profit and loss, and which branch office should be developed and which branch office are already giving you profit. So in this way we can analyze our business using location-based analysis and also in the WebGIS. So now we already know how to use WebGIS in business sector. Now let's see how to use WebGIS in tourism sector. We already know we can plan a tourism site using GIS. If you publish this GIS map in a website so that a citizen can see the tourism site, what is in there, what is the facilities of this tourism site, why they will go there, It will be easy to understand in a web map why tourists will go there. So we already know how to use WebGIS in tourism site, and we already know how to use WebGIS in environmental sector and also in planning sector. So we can say we can use WebGIS in any sector. As WebGIS can be used in any sector, so there is a huge opportunities of WebGIS career. You can start your WebGIS career without any confusion. Enjoy GIS and thank you.